Hi.
Hey guys, how's it going? Um, yeah,
It's Sunday.
it's Sunday. It's Sunday. It's a unseasonably hot Sunday, um, which is kind of annoying, but
Mm,
what do you do?
I like it though. I don't like freezing my non-existent balls off any sooner than I have to.
Oh,
So
I don't like the freezing. I just want
not 90.
not 91 degrees on October 2nd.
First,
First October 1st. Yeah, October
first
1st.
day of Halloween.
First day of Halloween, spooky
Mm.
season. Anyway, we're here today in a new location. Do you like the backdrop? This is my um,
I'll do Havana.
increasingly insane local and regional band T-shirt collection, um, which always gets added to, and eventually is going to take over this room. I don't know when I'm going to do that, but you know,
We'll have to move just to have a room for all your shirts.
this is true.
It's
This is true. Hmm.
pretty cool though.
It is cool because there's a lot of history here. I mean, I can not every shirt, but I could pull out certain shirts and remember that show. And then there's a lot of shirts representing bands that aren't around anymore. So that's always
Kind of sad, but
kind of sad,
memories.
but memories. And then, okay, so this weekend we went to two shows. It was a twofer kind of. And speaking of that, the show we went to Friday night, which we'll of course go into full detail on. One of the bands there was a band called Wolf Mask, and one of the bass player and singer in Wolf Mask is a guy named Dave Mutter, who used to be in a band called My Zero. And of course I had to wear my My Zero shirt, and he saw it and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I had to, man. He's like, thanks, man. And even when we were leaving, he actually thanked me for repping My Zero. So it's like, even though they're not around anymore, and you should really check them out. I mean, they have 2 albums on Spotify. Check them out; they're fucking good. You can do that, and and you can have people say, "Oh, I saw that band back in 19, whatever." Yeah, and it just starts conversations, and yeah, it's a good time. Anyway,
Yeah. And then for the bands that are still around to be able to wear their shirt and
oh yeah,
and
for promote, especially when we go out of state. I mean, the shirt that she's wearing here, DieHard Corpse. Shout out to Robin Kellerman and whoever else is in the band that I don't know. I mean, that's the one I wore down in Des Moines when we saw Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie. So,
yeah,
nobody said anything about it, but I'm sure a lot of people noticed it, and were probably like,
it's a very noticeable shirt.
it's a very noticeable shirt. It does stand out, for sure. Anyway, getting back to Friday. Yeah, as soon as I saw this show announced, I'm like, that's way too good of a bill for us to miss. I mean, it was just, totally stacked. And, yeah, where do we want to?
Well, it was after work, of course, because it's a Friday.
Because it's a Friday.
And he could just wander on down because he's real close. But
yeah, it was at the Skyway, and I literally worked in a building the block over, so it's a 2-minute walk from my office to the Skyway, which is kind of nice considering these are earlier shows, and I get off at 6, and usually doors are at 6, so it's like I can, even if I hang around the office for a while, I can still wander over and plenty of time to do whatever. So.
Yeah, so it was at Studio B, which is just a cute little. It's just so comfy, and I really like it. It's as comfy to me as like Club Underground is, or even Route 47, but it's just. I mean, I've only been there 2-3 times maybe,
yeah.
And I really like it, and their bartender is really, and I'm dumb, I didn't get his name, and I do like to know our servers' names and stuff, so I can thank them and actually know their name. But she's real nice, real quick, and then a lot of the musicians throughout the show was calling out the staff of the place and saying
for sure, yeah.
they're just so good to the musicians, which is, I'm not a musician, so I don't really know, but apparently not a common thing.
Highly unusual, yeah, for a venue to be this accommodating to the groups coming in. So that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
So they, so they just had said that they had been very accommodating to them and very nice, treat them like people and stuff, and not just musicians.
Yeah, not just animals that, okay, you're just here to make the money to
entertain
pay our
us.
bills. Yeah.
It's just here to entertain us.
Yeah, so that's always good to hear. And yeah, because not every venue is going to do that. So, and I think that's becoming more and more prevalent, because people are kind of realizing, oh, we should probably, especially at a lot of the shows at like Route 47, where they bring in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that are all going to be buying food and drinks all night. It's like, oh yeah, these people are making us a lot of money, and we should actually like treat them with respect and whatnot.
Yeah, because if you get a bad name, and I mean, people are just, are they going to really want to work with you if, you get a few bands that call you out as being not good people, not a good place, and
you're pretty much done.
That's going to make people hesitate to want to work with you. So,
yeah, and then we get less venues, and then
which is not good all the way around.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and I was just telling somebody at one of the shows, I can't remember which one, I think it was the one yesterday, about how we've got just such a great scene in this area, really, that it's just crazy. The more I see of it, and then we just got so many good people and that just support each other, and it's just, it's a good thing, we want to keep that. So
yeah, for sure, for sure, yeah.
But yeah, so Skyway Studio B, it was real nice. And it was, I'm glad that you reminded me of the show, because I had forgotten about it. And then he'd be like, oh, I'll see you Friday. I'm like, what, Friday? What? That show? Huh? And he's like, no, we're going to that show.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
then I sent her the flyer, and she's like,
okay.
oh, yeah, I heard, yeah.
So, and of course, and the first band is Samathwa, which, yeah. Oh my gosh, I love. And I had actually, they had been, and you had just reminded me that this really was like their first show in like a year.
I think about a year. They had some personnel changes. This is their first show with their new drummer, Adam, and who absolutely fucking kicked ass. He was, yeah. I mean, that whole band is just great. If you're not familiar, they're a instrumental metal band, and it's just infectious and hypnotic all at the same time. It's just, yeah, it's good stuff. It's a little techy. I mean, there's some like odd times and stuff, but and it's just heavy, and it's just good stuff. And all three of the guys are just really, really super cool. So yeah.
I mean, and I know the first time I heard instrumental. Hey, I just made a whole new genre, instrumental, or a whole new name for it.
Justin.
Yeah,
if you want to use it,
you guys can have it.
Yeah, instrumental.
It's my gift to you for your awesomeness. Yeah, first time I heard instrumental, I was like, what? How is that? That's gonna kind of suck. And then no, it did not. And I was just blown away. And I'm still, every time I see them, just, wow, it's just so good.
Well, quick side note, it was either the first or one of the first times I saw Saimathwa. They were on a bill with at least two other instrumental metal bands, Zenith Waves and Constant Variables. It was at Club Underground, and yeah, Zenith Waves is very similar, not quite as like quirky, but very similar. And Constant Variables is more almost like jazz influenced, which I found very, very interesting. And both of those bands I've not heard from in forever, so I don't know if they're still doing anything. But Saimathwa still is. They're gearing up to, because they made a joke that every time they switch drummers, they put out a new album and then forget all their previous stuff. So all the stuff they played in their set was brand new, and it all sounded fantastic. I can't wait for the new record to come out. I don't know if they said when they were going in to record it, or
I can't.
I mean, I would
remember.
assume sometime in the next 6 months or so that they'd record and release it, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, when it comes out, you should go and get it because it's just good. It's fun stuff. It's good stuff.
They just have amazing titles of their songs. And then they're the one that was the Choosy Moms Choose Riffs.
Choosy Moms Choose Riffs.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh my gosh, that's just hilarious. And then the song was freaking awesome too.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'm a mom. I'm kind of choosy sometimes. Hey, I like this song. All right. But then, because I had to go get their other 3 CDs after because I didn't have them. I thought I did, but apparently I didn't. And yeah, I was just reading some of the titles, and then you said your favorite one was...
Well, the one that always stood out to me was Bologna Danza. But what was the one that Jeff came up with that he said he could never top? I don't remember which one it was.
I'd have to get it, and it's not in my car, but...
I mean, I have them on my shelf, but... well, I'll throw that one in there.
Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, it
but,
was...
But, I mean, all their titles, because again, they have no lyrics, so you're kind of, the title is kind of all you have to go by, but yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, it's...
So fun and creative, and just so good, and just talented. Oh my gosh. So yeah, and I just love, they just make me smile, as you can see. I just a mere thought. I'm just like, oh.
And not only musically, I mean, you have Justin, who is an incredible artist, has done flyer and t-shirt designs for a number of bands. And he, this year's Surly Darkness artwork.
Oh, that's right.
Is his design. So yeah, so that's really cool.
Yeah, they're going to the Darkness
Days.
Yeah,
which is next weekend.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And, and yeah, I don't know if we'll look that up or not, but
we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. Yeah, so that was just freaking. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, and then Ryan, you had asked if you were still doing.
Oh yeah, and so
interviews. So
I got introduced to Adam as the new drummer, and he recognized me from doing this, and he asked if I was still doing the MMP interviews, and I'm like, yeah, And then I told him about the whole. Well, we won't talk about that, but
we're trying to get.
We're trying to. I've been in talks with this certain band, and yeah.
We'll make it happen though, because I told him so. We're every day.
We're gonna bug him, and yeah.
Just a reminder, because we're sure it's just a matter of being busy and stuff. Because
which is
they're awesome people. So
yeah, which is understandable.
It's just I know I do that kind of thing. I'll be like, oh no, I didn't respond to this text from 3 days ago. Oops.
Oh, shit,
but and then but I'm thinking you should be doing this on the interview. So
I might have to.
I mean, for as awesome as they are, and if you said you haven't interviewed them yet, so
that's correct. Yeah.
I think we need if we do end up at Darkness Days, we can maybe find them.
Yeah, maybe I'll message Jeff and kind of say, hey, what's up?
But yeah, one of these days, if nothing else, because I think it's definitely needed. Because
that would be cool.
I was sad because I honestly thought they had stopped playing, and I didn't realize until when he said, "Oh, the show," and I was like, "Oh." So I'm super happy they're still around because I was getting sad because I thought they weren't. So
yeah, and I think Adam might be a good candidate. Squirrel. Adam might be a good candidate for a drum geek out.
Oh yes,
because he seems like a gear guy. So, so yeah, a new series I may or may not be starting depending on, and just getting together with drummers and talking gear.
And I'll just be the snack and
you'll just be the
snack and drink wench and stand in the corner and fangirl. So
we'll get to serious fangirling later.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I did some of that last night.
Yeah. We have to mention that.
Oh boy.
So so they opened it. Then next up was Echoes of the Fallen, who are just they were on point Friday. I mean, they had one of the better sets of the night for sure. And it was good to see Sean again. their drummer, who is just a delight. He is just a infectiously wonderful person. I mean, he's just a good guy. And it's always a joy to watch him play. He just has this natural smoothness and a big smile on his face the entire set. It's just awesome to see. So yeah, shout out to Sean, man. And yeah, I mean, the rest of the band is awesome too. And this is your second time seeing
I
them?
believe it was second, because I remember there was you said that was North Star, where I
Yeah. Yep.
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The first time, yeah, so much to look at. And it's every single one of them are just rocking out, like having the best freaking time, headbanging, you know, like just so much. Like, I think the keyboardist really kept catching my eye, because he was just doing his thing and headbanging at the same time, and like
at one point I think he complained that his hair was getting in his face, and
he proclaimed that his damn hair was in his face, and he couldn't see anything, and and then you would mention that it was his birthday.
Yeah, it was the keyboard player's Jordan,
possibly.
Justin. I think it was Justin.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because I don't know everybody's names. So.
Yeah, I think it was Justin. Yeah, and the last band, which we'll get to in a second, actually stopped and sang Happy Birthday to him. So, had all of us sing Happy Birthday to him. So that was fun. Again, showing that like community.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
And again, as in 90% of these videos, all these bands are recommended. Echoes of the Fallen, I know they just released a new album. I mean, not new, but their most recent album came out a year and a half ago, something like that. 2 years ago, maybe. I don't know. Since 2020, everything's kind of gone. Empty.
And it goes by so fast.
And it goes by so fast anyway. But yeah, check it out for sure. I mean, yeah. Don't ask me what genre. I get confused with genres. It's just good, heavy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Heck
sure.
yeah. That was freaking great. Next we had Courier.
Courier.
Yeah.
This is a brand new band with a couple of guys who've been on the scene for a while. You have Tony Went on drums, who used to be in Simatha. When I first met him, he was in Simatha. Then he was in Common Choir for a hot second. And then he kind of disappeared for a while. And then I saw him at the show, and I was like, hey. And then I think it was Kellerman who was saying, you know, yeah, this new band's got Tony in it. And I was like, oh, that. It's like, and Tony is, I mean, he's another one. I had him here. I talked to him. And you can see that if you scroll down the page somewhere. Yeah, and I mean, Tony's a good guy. And a fairly good drummer, too. I mean, he's another kind of fun one to watch. And then their bass player was a guy named Jordan Swanson, who, when Kellerman first said that, I'm like, I think I know that name. Then I saw him, and it's like, oh, yeah. Because he used to be in... I think he was in Omega Sequence, which is the band Sean was in before they unfortunately broke up. And I think he used to partially run sound at Lee's for some shows. And I think he was the drummer for, I want to say, Ghost Hook. That might be wrong. That's probably wrong. I know he played drums at one point. He would put out videos of him like jamming that stuff. I thought he was in Ghost Hook, but anyway, the point is, both those guys have been around the scene for a long time. And I didn't recognize any of the other people in the band, but I'm sure this is just almost like a super group of
I was gonna say All Stars or something.
Yeah, like an all star kind of band. But yeah, I mean, they were good. They didn't quite stand out. Didn't stand out quite as much as the other bands. So I think with a little more work, a little more tightening up, I mean, there could be something really good there.
Yeah.
They definitely have potential. But again, you have Tony and Jordan, so it's like you can't really go wrong. They just need a little bit of tightening up, and
And
And I-
being that this was their first show
This
ever,
is their first show, yeah,
so-
and I'm sure with that lineup, and they know the history, the you know, pedigree.
There
of
you
the
go.
lineup.
Mm-hmm.
There might have been a little nervousness there, but as I said to Tony afterwards, I'm like, it's just good to see you on stage again, because he's too good of a drummer not to be. One of those kind of guys. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So next up, and this will be fun with a viewer to see what we can see and what we can't see.
Right.
So Wolf Mask
That's where-
announced early in the week that they had finally had hoodies, which is actually a T-shirt design of a T-shirt I have, which is
Somewhere, probably.
somewhere.
Not that one. Oh, it's in here somewhere.
Yeah. So of course I had to pick one up because
And I wanted one too, but they didn't have chunky girl sizes, so
Yeah.
unfortunately. Well, apparently they had a couple of 2Xs,
They
but
had a
it was
couple of
already
2XLs,
scribbled
but
out.
they were already
So.
scribbled out. But it sounds like, I mean, if they didn't sell out that night, they're getting damn close to selling out. So I'm sure they'll do another run, and then you
Yes.
can pick one up. So
And my hoodie.
yeah, because we are, despite the fact it's 91 degrees.
I know I'm like sweating.
We are getting. I mean, it's hoodie season. It's hoodie and long sleeve T-shirt season. So.
I know I've already had to break a couple out last week because it was so freaking cold out.
I know.
And when you got to work at 6 in the morning, and
Oh, yeah,
it's
for sure.
like, yeah, I'd had to have some.
And then after, but Wednesday of this week, it's gonna drop and lows are gonna be like in the 40s. So it's just like.
I might not make it this time around.
You know,
I'm a freeze baby. I don't like that.
I know you don't.
Mm.
Anyway, so quick aside. We were at a show at the Caboose, probably a year ago, year and a half ago, something like that. Where Wolf Mask was. It was a great show.
Oh, yes.
And we were outside talking to Bud and Shanti and a couple other people.
Yeah.
And I went inside or said,
said,
"Oh,
I'm going
Wolf-
inside."
Going inside." And she's like, "Okay, I'll be right there." And Wolf Mask was on, and she literally came in 15 minutes later, and they were on their last song because they're very short set and short song. I jokingly say, and I'm sure Dave would agree, that they could probably play every song they have, and it would still be about 24 minutes.
That's a great 24
it's
minutes.
so good. It's just really, really punchy, in your face, just hardcore. I don't even know what you would call it. I mean, because it's metal-ish, but it doesn't really fit in any of the genres that I know. Like, I've always considered them more of like a punk band than a metal band.
Metal, punk, horror.
Yeah,
In a
because
little
they
way.
definitely have a movie and like horror kind of base to them, and most of their songs start with some sort of film clip. And yeah, they're just good. I really like that. I really like seeing them.
I was really impressed now that I got to actually finally see them.
See a
so,
full set, yeah.
Yeah, I was very happy. And then why also I was like, oh no, and I didn't get a hoodie before and yeah, I went back there and of course they didn't have my sizes, so that's oops. But yeah, so they were freaking great.
Yeah, and really, I mean, again, and I say this for everybody, but I do mean it for everybody. You couldn't ask for nicer guys.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Dave was just a sweetheart. We were talking about how much he hates social interaction and he hates being the front person.
Huh.
But once you're there, you can do it. But it's like he's like, yeah, as soon as I get in my car, just gonna shut down and go home and be with my cats and and I'm like, dude, yeah, I understand. I completely understand. You know, we are all mostly introverts in this scene. I mean, there's some extroverts, like Dom from Synopsis, the drummer. He's definitely an extrovert. But most of us are introverts in the scene, which I kind of find interesting.
Yeah.
You know.
I suppose out of necessity, you can do what you need to do.
Yeah,
so.
we're extroverts out of necessity, but we'd rather not.
Yeah.
We'd just rather literally go on stage, play our show, and go home. But
Now, what fun would that be? You gotta let us fans attack you a little bit at
this
least.
is true. This is true. Yeah.
Do it for the fans. We love you.
And we do. And as I was talking to Tank, okay, this is way side story over here, but related, because we were talking about, and if he sees this, he's probably going to get mad at me for this. We were talking about Matt and how he has kind of social issues, shall we say.
Wow.
I mean, wicked smart, like book smart, like doctor. He's an actual doctor. He's working on cancer.
I'm gonna start calling him doctor
You should.
when I see him.
But he will admit this. He's not really the best socially.
Well, not everybody's gonna be.
And especially when you're a band with someone like Tank, who has mastered the art of networking.
It's a Tank thing.
But it sure does.
Which we have that shirt.
Right.
I had them made.
And I told you Tank was wearing it for that one practice, and Matt was jokingly saying we should do that as merch.
Yeah, you should.
We should do this. Anyway, but I was like, yeah, because I really don't like talking to people either, but when I was an astronaut and we do the full night, when we go on break, everybody else would go to the band table over here in the corner, but I would be the one watching and seeing which tables are kind of, getting into it, and during the break, I would go up with the cards and go to those tables and like talk to people and hand out the card. I mean, I didn't want to do it, but I figured someone should do it, because that's kind of, and since Pam, our lead vocalist, wasn't doing it, sorry, Pam, no offense, but come on. So I had to do it. So again, out of necessity, you become more extroverted than you want to be.
Well, it's good for you.
I suppose. Yeah. So again, Wolf Mask, freaking awesome. They've got the only song that I know, like, could pick out, of course, is Dickless, which is the last song that they played with the Ghostbusters quote. Which of course has a repeated part of "Are you a god? No, then die," which of course is a line from the film. But so they draw from film and from horror stuff, and they're all into that. So yeah, so it's just cool. It's just fun. I would love to see them and Casper operating the same bill.
Oh,
that would be awesome.
Oh yes, that would be amazing. I just got my little literal side notes over here. That we had some younger folks there, because it was an all ages show.
Oh yeah, that's right. It wasn't an all ages show.
Yeah, we did see some younger ones, and then we had a couple of like teens in the pit that were just moshing their hearts off.
They were doing it, man.
Literally leaping.
Yeah,
with joy, moshing.
Between probably 11 and 13,
something like that.
Take,
yeah,
like preteens. Yeah, but they were giving it the gusto. Man.
Oh man, and then there were some younger ones roaming around too.
Yeah,
it was really great to see. We gotta have our younger people there. Next generations. So
yeah, and
it's great.
Little bit of foreshadowing, because the show we went to on Saturday, the first half of it was all ages, and we did see a bunch of little kids there too, and all of them had air protection.
Yeah.
So it's we're being responsible.
More responsible than we are with our own ears, because we keep forgetting our special earplugs that I keep forgetting to bring.
Yeah.
So.
But we're protecting the youth.
Yes.
We're protecting the youth, and we're teaching the youth, which I think is very, very important.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So you got a little bit of younger crowd. So we had our Wolf Mask, and then we had phenomenal. Wow, that's my beginning notes there. We had Beast Face. Holy cow!
Who? And us, because Josh Kellerman, who was at both shows. Actually, Alex was at both shows too. But I didn't really talk to him on Saturday that much.
Oh yeah, I talked to him a little more.
Yeah. But we were kind of comparing notes for both shows, and he agreed that Echoes and Beast Face took the night, and I couldn't agree more. Like, this is my, I think, third time seeing Beast Face, I think, and every time I see him, it's just like, God damn. As I said to Kellerman, like, it should be illegal for a band to be this good.
Need that on a T-shirt. There, we'll let you guys have that one. Yep. Our gift to you. Yep.
Being this good should be illegal.
Yes.
And
toot your own horn. Toot it.
Because again, if you're unfamiliar, you can't really describe them because they're heavy, but then they also have some really, really light, like pretty parts, and it's just proggy enough to qualify it as such, and it's.
So I do love me some prog.
Well, yeah. And the vocalist, and I don't remember his name, I think it's another Brandon might be. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Brandon,
I'll
guitarist.
I'll find it.
I don't know if the vocalist is a Brandon.
He might be. But he is very, very dynamic. He
oh boy.
Yeah. Jumped off the stage at one point and was in the crowd. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he does the work for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Great front man.
Great front man. Awesome.
Oh, but all of them just great. I mean, and then Brandon, the guitarist, is just freaking shredding the heck out of that sucker.
Yeah,
oh
Brandon
my
Wells.
gosh.
I know he gives lessons. If you're starting out guitarist, seek him out. Because dude's a monster. Just absolutely, yeah.
I mean, I like to watch everybody, but like I just like riveted, like kind of look, and then oh my gosh, and then look at that one, look at that one, look at that. Oh my gosh, like just.
Yeah, I was pretty much focusing on drummers all night because that's what I do, and I know. I mean, when you know most of them, they're all really fucking good. But for Beast Faces, like drummer Brandon. Yeah.
No offense to the other guys.
Oh
but
no,
it's just,
no offense
like,
at all. But Jesus, yeah.
Riveting. So yeah. Oh my gosh, but everything was just freaking phenomenal.
Just, as a whole, that's probably one of the better, most solid shows we've been to in a while.
Oh. Yeah, that like I'm sad that I almost forgot about it. So thank goodness I have you because I would have been sad to have missed that. So
yeah, sure.
And it was cool because it was kind of a cool night because it was just doing this storming out, and it was this neat like pitch black. Well, other than the city lights, but then these lightning strikes you could see coming through the window, like between sets and stuff, and it was and just cool because there's plenty of seating, like comfy couches and stuff to sit on in between sets, and so many good people to talk to. It was really just, it was a freaking great night. So
that was a well-needed show on a lot of levels, I think.
Oh yeah, and especially being a Friday after a week, and it was a week. Holy crap! I'm sure a lot of people had a heck of a week. My work apparently was trying to kill us this week. So yeah, it was really just it was good outlet.
It was a very good outlet. Yeah, for sure.
So it was just a great place, and I don't personally like driving downtown, but I will do it when need to, and then I get to be your chauffeur for the way home, so you don't have to take the bus or nothing, Uber. So it's my pleasure to.
And sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is a show that was actually, I think, put together by Chilton.
Yes, it was.
And he unfortunately is still recovering from whatever injury he had.
Was it a leg infection or something?
Leg, back, something that's had him out of work for a couple months.
Yeah.
So he obviously was unable to make it, but yeah, this was the show that he helped in setting up and booking. So
thank you.
Quick recovery, Greg. Hope to see you soon, and excellent job on that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like, this is the kind of shows. This is an insane kind of show.
And it's weird. I mean, because years ago when I first started going to shows, it was like there were shows like this every weekend. There were shows with this kind of bill like every weekend.
Yeah.
At either at Lee's or at the Terminal or at Club Underground or wherever, and it was just like, oh my god, so much.
Yeah. Okay, before we get with poor guy over here reminiscing and becoming sad
again. So that was Friday night. So then obviously we got home. We almost immediately crashed.
Yeah. I was like, I'm hungry. We didn't eat anything. Oh, well, but like, yeah, because we didn't.
Yeah, that's
do
the
food.
only downfall of Skyway shows is that
Mm.
they don't have food.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of places around
And
there.
there is, but when he works and then I worked, and then by the time I commuted, and
Yeah, by the
there's
time
not
we,
really
we
time.
kind of found each other was like, quarter after or whatever, and yeah, it
Mhm.
was, yeah.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the only
Yeah.
thing I dislike about Skyway shows is that there's no.
If you
food
guys
there.
got like a little pizza oven, like some of the places have, you would
Oh, you would sell
have
a
like
billion
pizzas, mini pizzas and pretzels or something, like you could just stuff in
You could
pretzels
do like
with
garlic cheese bread. You could do
cheese bread, yeah, like you could make a killing
all
there.
you need is a
Yeah.
pizza oven.
I mean, you
maybe
already
two.
make a killing with your drinks, so we gotta say it because it's
Yeah,
a lot
the
for
drink prices have gotten insane. Our first round, I just got a vodka Red Bull, and they used the biggest, most plastic jug of vodka I've ever seen. And you just got what, like a Corona? No,
what was it? It was a Corona. It was a can of Corona.
yeah, kind of Corona, and
yeah.
it was 20 even.
Yeah.
And it's like, really?
So, I mean, it's insane for the drink prices. So, hey guys, why don't you get yourself a pizza oven or two and give us some garlic cheesy bread and some pretzels with your cheese? You literally,
You would make a killing.
you
on that.
can feed us something so we don't die. Not that I will ever die from starvation, but, yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah, and you have plenty of room behind your bar.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, you maybe because I know I only saw like one bartender. Well, there was in the other half of the night. I think there was two bartenders.
I think the most I've ever seen back there was two.
But
in
I
all
mean,
the shows
still,
I think I've only seen two
But
bartenders.
I mean, the bartenders that you guys do have, like seriously,
your staff
quick.
is
Um,
excellent. I've never
like-
had bad service there. I've
Mm.
never had like an
Mhm.
asshole bartender.
Mhm.
Like they're always really nice and really cool and really quick.
yeah, which makes me
So-
mad again that I didn't get the names. Because
Yeah.
I like to give shout outs
Mm-hmm.
for good service. Because it's excellent to have good service.
Yes.
Everybody
for sure.
always complains
For sure.
and tells everybody the bad service. Got to do the good service too.
Yeah,
so.
we try to forget the bad service and
Except for me, I'm gonna bitch about it for a little while.
well for a
And
little bit.
then-
But
So I will.
especially in these reviews,
Yeah.
unless it's like really bad.
I mean,
then
or
we'll bring it.
all the way home because
Well, yeah.
depending. So-
But we try again. We try to keep positive.
Mhm.
So if we have really, really, really bad service, we'll probably mention it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just your average bad service, we'll just kind of like whatever. But
Yeah.
anytime we have exceptional service, we will always call it out because
Yeah.
you know,
Well, yeah.
yeah,
Gotta.
you got it. 'Cause,
You know.
yeah,
Especially, people need to know if there's good places.
Yeah.
We want to send you to the good places. I mean, granted, if there's somewhere it's terrible, we're gonna want to tell you not maybe so
Mhm.
much to go there. But if there's somewhere that's great, then yeah, we want to send you there. We want, we want
yeah,
more people, more crowds, the
yeah.
more the
Like,
merrier.
like our
you
buddy
know.
Josh at Calendaground,
Oh, Josh.
who is still, I feel, one of the most underrated
Yes.
bartenders
He's-
in the city.
yeah.
He is awesome.
I mean, I would say we could clone him, but honestly, Josh, you're so unique and wonderful and unique and wonderful and unique. You kind of like,
Yeah, cloning.
I don't know
think
if the
it's
world
good.
could handle two
I don't
Joshes.
think it could.
So I think we just get to have the one special Josh.
Yeah, and
So-
we'll try not to work under death.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I want all the margaritas. Yeah. I will not order a margarita for everybody ever because I don't kill the bartender.
Mhm.
Don't kill the drummer, don't kill the bartender.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, so that was Saturday, and
Mm.
then we
That-
got up, or
that was Friday.
And, yeah, so Saturday we got up, we had breakfast, we kind of sat around and watched YouTube for most of the day,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh shit, we gotta go.
Yeah.
So we got there a little late. The first band had already started.
Mhm.
First band who was Ice Everlasting.
Yes.
And again, okay, to all you punk guys, the punk scene, within two bands, the two things I noticed about the differences in the metal scene and the punk scene, and this stands to reason because of what punk is, the fact that none of the bands announced who they were on stage. They had no branding on stage. They had no like scrims or whatever. so I'm like, oh, that's different. So you're just supposed to kind of know who these people are.
Yeah.
And the pits
Hmm.
are much more vicious. I mean, when the metal guys are on stage and say, you know, I want a pit, that's what they're expecting.
Yeah.
They don't get that, but I'm sure that's what they're expecting. Because Jesus Christ, I mean, people literally shooting themselves across the floor.
Pinball people.
And
They were
oh my
like,
God, it was nuts. Yeah, as a singer, it's like half that first half, the all ages half. It was like between watching the bands, watching you to make sure I know where you were, and then watching the pit to make sure everything's okay. Like that, those are my 3 points of whatever. I was just like,
Oh.
it got intense, man. It was.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, like that, like yeah, I didn't bring a first aid kit.
And I only saw one person walk away with like a napkin on them, but then about 20 minutes later they were back in the pit.
Yeah,
so
right.
it's like, okay, you must be fine. But
you're fine.
it was nuts. Like if you ever watch like the punk documentaries and you see like the old school, like when they get into the section about the LA hardcore and like those pits, that's what was happening.
Oh yeah.
Like it was insane. It was nuts.
It was.
Especially coming from all the metal shows, and you expect, oh, metal shows, that's pit. Not like this. I mean, the metal show pit. No offense, Amsterdam, are so gentle.
Yeah.
And
like, are you okay? Or, I didn't mean to.
I mean, there was still an element of that, but the initial circling was just like what we do at metal shows, but like on steroids and on speed, because it was 20 times faster and just more intense, and this, oh my God, it was insane.
Yeah, it's
Amsterdam, you would have been proud.
Yeah, I know. I was like, yeah, we were looking for you. But yeah, it's just it was really crazy, Masha. Like I literally did feel like I was in one of those documentary movies, like that you saw, like with the crazy people moshing and doing like the like two-step, as you were saying, that like
I think that's what it was called.
and like it was just like it was, and he's like, it's gonna calm down the second half, and I'm like, yeah, I bet it is, because the second show
it did.
Yeah.
Like all the moshing pretty much stopped.
Yeah, I mean there was moshing, but there was not that.
Well, not until the last band, where the singer was like, okay, fucking mosh. And they're like, okay. And they did it for about 10 seconds, and then it was done.
Yeah.
With the first half, it was like, the entire song, they'd stop. The entire song, they'd stop. It was intense. It was, I've never been that close to anything like that.
Yeah.
It was insane.
That was...
Anyway, that being said, so that's the scene we walked into. And it was definitely a punk show. Like there was you could just tell.
There was spikes everywhere.
There was a lot of spikes. A lot more battle vests than at any metal show I've been to.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I know, and Jess had said that they were going to wear their battle vest, but didn't, and they had wished that they had then. But yeah, it was, really cool. The whole scene and everything was just, it was really neat. I have never been to barely any punk stuff, so it was an experience for sure.
Yeah.
So Ice Everlasting, we got just like their last 2 songs.
Yeah, literally, because we got there after they'd started, and then got through the entry into the thing, and literally about 10 minutes later, or less than that, they were done. And we're like, oh, okay.
And it's just like, they're done. All these bands, like, they play, done. It's like, oh.
And if there is an announcement of last song, it's literally just last song, and then they play it. Not, this is going to be our last song. Thank you guys for coming out. Thanks, venue. Like, it's such a different aesthetic. Like, it's insane. It's like night and day almost. It's just so, which again, I understand goes with the whole punk thing, but it's just like, wow. Like, it was eye-opening. It really was. Anyway, Ice Everlasting, a trio, I believe, just guitar, bass, drums, and one of them was singing. I don't remember who. But yeah, it was quick. It was fast. It was to the point. It was yeah.
Punky.
It was punky, as you would expect at a hardcore punk show.
Yep, and then we had infantile disease.
Infantile disease. These guys, again, going in, I'd well, I'd seen 2 of the bands, and I'd heard of 3 total, including those 2. So this was a lot of unknown for me, a lot of unknown for you, I'm sure.
Oh yes, a lot.
And so, yeah, these first, I mean, out of the first set, we knew one.
Yeah, Vacant. We'd heard. Well, we knew
Sunset.
Sunset.
I had seen Sunset before.
And then we'd heard of no, because we saw
Visceral Reaction.
Visceral Reaction
Yeah,
in Duluth.
So 2.
Yeah. So yeah, and Vacant. I think I'd heard of vaguely.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was a lot of new, and it was a venue we'd only been to once before. So it was kind of we're still kind of getting our legs there.
And it's beautiful there too.
Oh, it's a gorgeous venue.
Another thing to say about Mortimer's, like the front half they're very bar-ish and stuff, and they do have a array of pinball machines, which was kind of cool to see.
Cool.
And then they have pretty decent food.
Yeah.
Their bartenders in the front are okay. Not my favorite bartenders. Bartenders in the back were awesome. Both of them.
We'll get to them in a second.
But
because they were both really cool.
And it's beautiful, and they have like in the back area where the stage is, they have like stained glass and like old school lighting, and it was just
and a bunch of like carving stuff on the wall.
Carvings
and yeah, it's a really cool. So
really neat.
Yeah, it's a very very neat space.
Yeah, like my son Ian, my oldest, he was going to come to this with us, but they had switched the schedule, so he couldn't come. He had to work, so I had sent him a couple of pictures and stuff. Still have to send him that video. But so yeah, very beautiful back there. Not as hot as when we saw the Badman's last show.
No, it wasn't nearly as packed as that.
Yeah.
Because that was literally wall to wall, like you could not move.
This was still a really good turnout, though.
It was still a really good turnout.
Oh,
for sure.
Like it was nice.
But I think not everybody was in the room at the same time.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people like outside and going back and forth and whatever. But anyway.
Yeah. So infantile disease.
Yeah. So I looked on stage because they had and we met up with our buddy Lou, and his youngest and oldest, Jess and James, and then Jess was with Hunter.
Yes.
So we kind of hooked up with them, and after the first band was done in like a minute, we went to the bar and got a drink, and we were sitting outside for a while, and sitting outside for so long, I'm like, okay, how many bands have been on? Because it felt like a long time.
Yeah.
But apparently we did miss that much, so maybe time was messing with me. But so we go back in, and I'm looking on stage, and I see a guitarist, bass player, and drummer, and I hear singing, but I don't see anyone on stage singing. And I'm like, okay, and of course, it was crowded in front and pitch going, and it took me a while to kind of focus in the front of the stage, and it's like, oh, I see a guy with a mic. Okay, that's a singer. Oh, I see a girl with a mic. Okay, so the dual singer thing, kind of like X, if you're one of the old school punk guys and are familiar with the band X, they had a male and female singer. So kind of like that, and yeah, they were intense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I can't see that because I'm not 6'4", and so yeah, but I did, after a little bit break in the crowd and kind of a thing shift, I did notice then the 2 singers.
Yeah, because they were on the floor for the entire set.
Yeah, so
like they weren't on stage.
Couldn't really see them, and then like I said, I could there for after a bit, but yeah, they were really good too, and they had the crazy pit thing going on still, and yeah, I was impressed. I mean, like I said, I have very little punk experience, but I was very pleased. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it was funny because Luke kept on saying, I know this isn't your scene, but whatever, and I'm like, dude, every scene is my scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'll go see a funk band, I'll go see a country band, I'll go see a pop band. Like, I don't care. As long as it's live music and people are actually playing and it's good,
Yeah.
I will go see it. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
I mean, we are equal opportunity listeners. Like,
Yes.
we
Yes.
like to experience all sorts of stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
granted, there's going to be. I mean, if you give me Taylor Swift tickets, I'll go.
I'll go see you because I've
But,
heard she
you
puts on
know,
an incredible show.
Yeah, but
I'm not going to pay for it.
No,
God,
yeah, especially what they want.
Especially,
for
and especially
that.
after the whole Ticketmaster debacle.
Yeah.
But that's a discussion for another.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love our live music, so we're
Yeah.
we're
and,
not gonna.
and especially
anything down.
locally, because the scene
Oh,
is
yeah.
just so
Mhm.
rich. I mean, I know we mainly focus on like the metal scene, which is
Mhm.
for a city of this size, it's pretty freaking incredible. I mean, it's a good
Yeah.
scene. But I mean, there's so much other good stuff out there.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I used to do pretty much cover and/or rock, and
Mhm.
then now since I've gotten to shows with you, I'm learning all this other scene, and it's just like wow.
yeah, and then even beyond that, I mean, you have somebody like James, for example,
Oh yeah.
who you know
Oh jeez,
is
she's amazing.
incredible and
So,
just yeah.
yeah, man.
And yeah, I mean, you go down kind of the R&B, because I mean, Minneapolis, of course, has a huge pedigree of R&B. Thank you, Mr. Nelson. And
Yes.
and that whole sound, I mean, the Minneapolis sound became a thing in the early '80s because of that, because of Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, and that whole thing. So we got a huge pedigree of R&B. I mean, there's just more alternative stuff like New Defective, who I would not qualify as a metal band in any way, shape, or form.
No,
But definitely,
so good.
yeah.
And they have their own unique sound, like Outlaw Saint is so unique. New Defective, Uncle Daddy,
Uncle Daddy,
like
yeah, I mean,
just we have so many
so much good
unique
stuff.
people around here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Just-
and just thinking about it now, that's something we might want to, I don't know how calculated we want to get, but looking at for next year was like expanding, like going to more like hip hop shows and R&B shows and you know, stand-up comedy,
I'm all for
that
it.
kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. I totally like all
Because
for it.
we love our metal family, we adore our metal family, but you know, you gotta branch
like we
out.
said, we were equal opportunity, man. Well, so I mean, yeah, if you guys got cool things you want to let us know about, you can always, put them in the comments there, links, things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are in a band or have a band that you think we should check out, definitely
Or
throw it in the
comedy
comments.
or
Or
whatever,
comedy or
such and so
whatever,
forth.
yeah.
And I know Club Underground does their stuff.
Yep.
So
And then as I was leaving Mortimer's, they do a open mic every
Yeah.
Friday.
and then a karaoke thing
And then the
too.
karaoke,
and,
yeah.
And I love me some karaoke too. I haven't gone to karaoke for so long and tortured people, but I like to watch people perform, and then occasionally like to go up and usually torture people with Rush. But I have done some Joan Jett and Alana Miles,
Alana Miles,
Black,
yeah.
Black Velvet.
Velvet,
I
which
love
is
that.
just
That's one of my songs I love to do. I don't know how well I do it, but I love to do it. It's my song. So, but yeah, karaoke is great. Like, it's, and then also just to throw in there, as long as we're on the alternative subject, I don't remember your name, dude, but when we were outside, in between a couple songs, I sat down next. There was a gentleman who was very nice as to scoot over, so I didn't have to sit in the water.
Oh yeah, because the roof is leaking.
Yeah. And so we chatting up and stuff, and he had mentioned that we started talking about pinballs, and there's pinball machines in Mortimer's in the front part of the bar, and then how he had said he had just done a tournament the night before, and that he had been out until been playing pinball from 4 p.m. to 1 in the morning. And I said, well, where do you do that? And he said there's a place in St. Paul called Bad Penny that he's, I guess, part owners of, and gave us stickers, which
I'll
we must
insert
have
it.
forgot.
I'll
He'll
insert
insert
it
it. And I stuck mine on the bathroom wall because there was a Bad Penny sticker on the stall that I was in. And then I went, well, hey, I got one of a different color. So I stuck mine a little bit further over, so extra advertising.
Advertisement and promotion, yeah.
And then I did see my MAY, which I took a picture of. If you just want to steal an insert, you can. But I shared it on my page too.
Yeah.
Little scrawl on the bathroom wall, and
who is another artist who is freaking amazing.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And so Bad Penny in St. Paul has, I forgot now how many, an insane amount, like 26 pinball machines or something. Jesus. And they do tournaments and such. And I kind of creeped on you and liked your page and stuff. So you can go on Facebook and like their page. And if you need some pinball action, there you go.
If you're craving, if you're hankering for pinball, I mean, that sounds like the place to go.
So it was really, I don't really play much pinball. I love to look at the machines because each one is unique and just freaking awesome. And I know there's Rush Pinball Machine. I don't know if they have it there at Bad Penny or not, but that would be even freaking awesomer. There was a bar we've seen it at.
They have it at Fulton. Because we went to the Rush, when they did the Rush Beer.
The Rush Beer
opening?
Yeah.
Whatever you would call.
Yeah.
Untapping? I don't know what the term is for when you introduce a new beer, but they introduced the Rush Beer, and we talked about that.
We had to go there for that. So
the giveaways and the pinball machine, the whole thing. The guy in the biker pants with all the album covers.
So Bad Penny Pinball Arcade, Star Arcade, Pinball Arcade, whatever it was called.
In St. Paul.
In St. Paul.
Yeah,
check it out. It looks really awesome, and I don't even play pinball, and it looks freaking awesome. And there's some of their prizes, like Fight Club Fight Club soap with your initials and date or score or something engraved on it for the winners. Nice. Because like I said, I stalked your page, and it freaking, I don't remember your name, but like I said, it looks wonderful, guys. So if you need something to do, you want some awesomeness, go check out their pinball stuff there, and So I just had to kind of plop that in there.
Yeah. And, since we're kind of at a because musically it gets kind of more intense from here. Yeah.
And this is they were joking near the end of the first show, the all ages show, that this is the all ages show, the very punk show, and then the next one was going to be the very drunk show. They were joking about that. So that's the 21 plus.
That was Vacant. I said that.
That was joking about that. Yeah, that was funny, y'all. Yeah. That we got the very punk and the very drunk.
I was standing next to someone. I think I was standing next to Bradley, and he kind of looked over and went, "Okay,
better get started.
Gotta do it."
Get a little bit. Oops. Get a little busier. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that was the first two bands, and I mean that kind of introduced us to this world, which we were unfamiliar. But the third band is a band I'd seen before. I saw them at 7th Street Entry. And I was trying to remember who else was on the bill. I mean, just was on that bill. Sunset, and I don't remember who else. So I think a couple more, at least one or two more, like punk bands. And Jason, who was a guitar player and vocalist in Trident, he's in this band. And it's a very different band. It's like a hardcore punk band. But we came in and saw something familiar, because bands up until this point had little speakers on stage and whatever. Walk in and you see 3 full stacks on stage. 2 guitars and a bass. Even the bass had the big Ampeg 8x10 or whatever. The refrigerator, as they call it. And I'm like, okay, now we're getting serious. Because Jason had his stack, and he's a shorter guy, but is 1.5 times taller than him.
1.5 Jasons?
1.5 Jasons. And then the other guitar player had a full stack, and he's like, okay, it's going to get fucking loud now. And it did.
And it did.
But it was awesome. I mean, first time I saw them, I didn't know what to expect, and I was blown away. And even more so this time, because so tight and just so solid and just so in your face and just
Mm.
you know, just yeah, and they're awesome. And the singer is so. I mean, there wasn't a lot of room on this stage, but he was jumping around. He was you know
Oh.
getting into it. Man, it was a good time. It was,
Mhm.
Yeah, and this is your first experience
Yes.
with Sunset.
Yes.
And well, side note, when we were waiting to get in, Jason was one of the first people that came out, and was like, "Hey, how's it going? Thanks for coming out, and good to see you.
Oh,
And good
yeah,
to see
so
you."
good.
Yeah, he
He's
again just
awesome.
fucking sweetheart, just the nicest guy.
Mm.
So yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk to him after, but dude, you guys fucking rock.
It was just wonderful.
Yeah.
It was my pleasure.
Mhm.
Just got so much. Oh my gosh, it was just amazing. Just so happy to be able to watch you guys play. It's just.
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think, was this the band or was it Vegas where the singer, I think it was Sunset because he said the same thing at when I saw him at the entry, how you know this is the scene that he grew up in, and you know he loves it that the scene is so tight and comes together to help, and you know even if you just showed up at the show, you're still helping, you're still contributing, you're still you know all that. So it's like
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the thing we forgot to mention is this was actually a benefit for the Nudieland, and I'm not sure exactly. I think it was just like a house show, and I don't know if Nudieland was the company that put it on, or the not company because it's punk, but the people that put it on or not. But apparently there was a shooting there, and the son of the guitarist for
Margaret got guitars for Infuriate.
His was the son that unfortunately
His son,
got
Sebastian.
shot. Sebastian.
Yes.
So this is a benefit for them and their family and all of that. And I know all the door I think was going to his family. They had at least one collection jar in the merch table, which I threw a little scratch in. And I don't know if that was going to the family or going to whoever, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but yeah,
Wherever it helps.
yeah, wherever it helps, and again, as he said, just being there, just attending, just you know, helps and all that. So
Yeah.
so as you know, it was a, and again, it seems like we're going to more and more of these, where it's just like
I know. Yeah.
great shows, but for really really sad reasons. A lot of benefits and a lot of you know that kind of thing. So. I mean, which on the one hand is great because again, community pulling together.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's kind of like, yeah, I wish
Yeah.
it were under
Shouldn't
different.
have to be doing this stuff. There shouldn't be this gun violence and just terrible
for sure.
stuff going around. But
Yeah.
but you know we are grateful to be able to help support
Yeah, of course.
the families and
Yeah, and as we say, we're not really tight in that community, but you know, whatever we can do.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway,
So yeah.
yeah. So Sunset came on and pretty much blew everyone out of the water. And again, they had a pretty vicious pit going too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
And then that pit just kept going.
Yeah, pretty much.
And we had Vacant next.
Yeah, through Vacant at least. I think it calmed down a little bit for Visceral, but for Vacant for sure. Yeah. And this is another band that I think I'd seen the name around, but didn't really know a lot about. And they were solid. They were really solid.
Oh yeah.
And tight, and yeah, they obviously knew what they were doing.
And I think wasn't it Kellerman that said he was excited
that was
to
his,
see them.
yeah.
That he had said that they were good. They were
Yeah,
really
they were
good.
really good,
So,
and they were, yeah, for sure. It's funny at one point. Again, Bradley, I forget his last name.
I don't know.
Logan's dad, you know. Anyway, I'll tag him in this, and it'll be fine. During Vacant set, or right after it, he leans over and he's like, "That singer's probably my age, and how he can you know scream like that and sing like that,
and keep going.
yeah, and keep going. That'd last about 2 minutes, and I'll be done." I'm like, "Well, practice makes perfect."
And I'm like, he's probably got calluses on his vocal cords.
I wouldn't
And
doubt
good
it.
calluses, apparently.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
how the guitar players get the calluses.
Get calluses
you
on the
know.
fingers and
Yeah.
I mean I'm sure you build up something on your vocal
Gets
cords
more
when
used
you,
to
when
it or
you when you
something.
sing that way for that long.
I mean, I lose my voice just screaming for the band by the end of the show. Yeah, I couldn't do that. No way. I mean, no, I couldn't even try. I
No.
could say I could try, but nobody would want to hear it. But I couldn't even try. So,
If I could do it on pitch, maybe I
and then Vacant was the band that had the calendar in their merch
could. Yeah,
lineup,
in their merch.
which I was going to go look at.
They
And
actually had a calendar, so and we didn't look at it, but I'm curious what
what are the pictures
are
in
the
there?
pictures for 12 months.
And then you joked about if Outlaw Saint.
Tank.
Tanky Poo.
Tanky
Listen up.
Poo. Merch idea, calendar. And you're probably going to hate this, but I think it'd be hilarious, and I think we'd sell a million of them.
How hard is it to take a picture of Tanks doing his stage
doing
jump?
the stage jump.
His
So-
drum riser jump.
So
It's hard.
every month except for September, we'll do one of the failed attempts, and then September, of course, your birthday month, we'll have the perfect one.
Yeah.
I think that would sell like hotcakes.
Yeah. And then except for February, we got to have the picture that Kellerman took from behind you at
At Underground Music,
yeah.
yeah.
It's a really cool shot that he took of Ryan playing and the behind the drummer shot.
Yeah.
And so that could be yours for February.
That could be February.
And then all the other ones could be me trying to take Tank's picture
Perfect.
of the riser jump, and it's really hard to do. And my friend Karen got an awesome shot a couple of times ago that she saw Outlaw Saint, and but yeah, man, it is hard to catch the wild Tank, a good shot of the wild Tank in action.
So think about that for next year as we ramp up with the new album. We need new merch anyway.
Yeah.
Because T-shirts obviously will need. Oh, I have a idea for that too.
Yeah.
Again, this is all side note.
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to Lou, and he was talking about how his kids were saying it's a punk show, got to get a punk shirt to go to a punk show, and I think it was James who was saying I have one at the house, and Lou's just like, I got a drawer of them upstairs, just go pick one.
Mm.
And he happened to pick out one of the only XLs or whatever he had.
Yeah.
And it was a band who his neighbor used to be in, who passed away. And he used to be in another band who I knew, because I was like, oh, that band, and now I forgot what band that is.
It's like, Amateur or something.
It wasn't, that was the punk band. But then he was in a band before that he was talking about, and I'm like, oh, I think I know that band. So Lou, if you see this, figure all that out, because I
Lou will see this, because Lou's the one who reminded us that we needed to do this today.
Yeah.
So, because we might have been tempted to be lazy and not do one.
And the fact that we didn't get any footage Friday night, and we got little footage.
I got just a couple
Saturday.
pictures from Friday.
Which we will be better about.
Yeah, we gotta be better.
We
needed a little
we're
just
slacking
immersion of just paying attention.
of just going to go.
Not having to have our phones out. We were doing a little bit of that, but we'll amp it up again here.
Yeah.
But
because there's a lot of good shows coming up. So.
But thank you, Lou, for kind of lighting a fire under our asses, as my mother would say. So
anyway, he was talking about that, and then the kids were kind of like, where's yours? And he's like, I'll just wear a shirt and has a pocket in it, because that's where he puts his smokes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was either me and him said, or I think I was kind of like saying, aren't there any band shirts of the pocket tees? And I'm like,
yeah.
So, in our next run of shirts, if we can work it out, I don't know if we do a full design around the pocket, or do like an Outlaw Saint logo on the pocket and then something on the back, or like something like that.
Cool.
But I think we could be the first band that actually does pocket tees.
Yeah, because I don't think you have any. Do you have any with anything on the back right now?
Outlaw Saint, no.
Ever?
No.
So there you go.
It's always been
you could do like you could do the Devil Angel on the pocket.
Do the girls on the pocket,
then
and then something on the back.
The Outlaw Saint on the back, or
Oh.
yeah.
Tank, and this is the design that you have with the sledgehammer, we could do the angel and devil on the front and do that on the back. That would be kind of cool. Think about it.
That's some private insider information there, because I don't know what the heck he's talking about. So, but it's all right.
Anyway, but that's just neither here nor there.
There we go.
But yeah,
So, yes. So
almost 300 shirts, none of them have pockets.
yeah,
I'm just saying.
yeah.
Why hasn't anyone done this?
So come on, guys. We're not gonna like hold a monopoly on the idea. You can
Oh, not at all. No,
start making some band shirts with pockets.
Yeah. People gotta hold their smokes or their vapes or their joints
I don't
or
have to
whatever.
wear a bra anymore, so I need a pocket for my phone. You know, I mean, come on. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That'll work.
So
Yeah.
band pocket tees.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who wants to steal that, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see it. Anyway,
Okay, so we're
so we're up to
visceral reaction.
Visceral, who is a band that we saw up in Duluth, and still did not have shirts in our size, which is a little disappointing.
Which is a bummer because I was going to look for some shirts.
We
But
did have shorts, and if that doesn't come out, I'll just insert pictures later. Because again, we can't see what we're doing.
yep, we're doing this different business right now. So
But yeah, I mean, I was surprised by them in Duluth.
oh yeah,
Just because it's like they're all gotta be under 23, 24.
oh
I mean,
yeah.
they're children.
That's the band you were saying was the young. Yeah, they are the young
The
ones.
new kind of
yes,
all-stars,
they
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And they're doing old school thrash and old school death metal, which is kind of fun to see.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, they were good. They yeah.
Very great to
Yeah.
be able to see them again.
And again, their lead singer guitarist, who could be the third caster.
Yes.
Even on Saturday, I was looking at him. It's like, yeah, he could be Alex's twin.
Yep.
Like, it's almost
Yep.
frightening.
That's true. I forgot that I had said that. Yeah, that's right. I kept thinking he looked familiar, and then why, and then, that's
Yeah,
true.
that's why.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, one heck of a show. Like, yeah, they're and that,
they're a fun band to watch. Yeah. And then finally, closing out the first all ages half.
the very punk half.
The very punk half was a band called Infuriate, who again it was for who the benefit was for, and they were good too. They were solid.
Yeah.
They were another trio, I believe. Just guitar, bass, drums, and the guitar player was a singer. Yeah, they were again punchy in the face, straight ahead. Yeah.
I have a good punch.
A good
happy punch.
And they also had large stacks set up on stage behind the drummer, which I found kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Like the one stack in the middle was literally right behind the drummer.
And then, as you said, they were like the first band to actually like have their name.
Yeah, and they actually had covers on the stacks, which actually had their name, which is kind of cool. Yeah, because they backlined the drums at least, so no individualized drum heads. All the way through the headliner, which kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
Like all the way through the night, which kind of surprised me. Because again, when at like Summerfest or Time Murder Fest, they backlined the drums up to a certain point.
Yeah.
And then they brought in their own kits. But it was the entire night, which is kind of cool. And it wasn't Twin City Drum Co. It was 351 drums, which might have been
Sounds
made.
right.
Might have been one of TCDC's lines. I don't remember. It might be a separate company. I'll look it up and put it in there. But I know I've seen that company before. Maybe before, so yeah.
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 That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. So Infuriate. Yeah. So pretty much all the bands thus far, killer job. Would recommend. I don't know where to find them because again, they're punk, so I don't know if they're on Spotify. I don't know.
I think some of them did say they were.
If you can only get their stuff on like cassette, like you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And then one of the bands, I don't remember if it was vacant or who. I did see a vinyl up on at the table, the one table, but it was the same band that had the calendar. So yeah, vacant.
Yeah, vacant.
But I didn't get any further to looking at it because I was going to go back, and then I didn't.
Yeah, and then distractions
but,
and music and stuff.
But yeah, and then somebody was talking about having stuff on Spotify. So
Yeah.
like just a couple of things, but they were talking about getting some more stuff out on Spotify too.
Yeah.
So,
I don't remember who that was.
yeah, I don't remember either. But
Okay, so then there was like an hour break,
yes,
which we did get some food because we were smart and actually ate this time.
yes,
But since we're kind of paused, earlier we did torture Lou inadvertently.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, so now we can talk about the bartenders.
Yeah.
Because there were two bartenders in the back, a younger guy and an older guy, and they both were really cool.
Okay, so yes.
So we ordered the first round, and at first he seemed a little standoffish, but I'm like, okay, typical bartender, whatever. But yeah, he warmed up fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And so I don't remember in between which bands it was. We were at the bar, and we noticed they had a bottle of Malort.
Yeah.
And if you watched our other video, or the subscriber special, I think that's when we did it, you saw our reactions to it. And out of the blue, you were just like...
Well, and then the bartender, he's like, because we commented on the Malort.
Oh, yeah. And then he was like, yeah, from when, they launched it, we got some, and they had like a big party and whatever.
We had this cool Malort bottle opener. So it was like...
Which he said, yeah, this is the closest I get to it. And I'm like,
yeah.
Good choice. Very good choice there, man. And then we were just kind of talking, and then next thing I knew, it's like, okay, we're going to get shots, go get Lou.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Well, what it was we were talking about the Malort, and then I went, well, I wonder what you would actually use for a chaser for Malort,
Yeah, because I think we were talking about doing a shot, and I'm like, oh, you'd have to have a good chaser, and then that's what sparked that.
So then I'm like, asked the bartender, I'm like, hey, what would you that Malort, what would you do for a chaser on that? And I'm like, oh yeah, let's do. And then he's like, oh, Lou's never had the experience of Malort before. So,
oh yeah, it was me. I apologize.
Yeah. Oh,
it was me.
That's right.
That's right.
Ha ha! Look who's not so innocent now. They always think I'm the one with the devil horns. Well, I am. But yeah, he just looks innocent. He's really not.
Yeah. So I went out to get Lou. And
in the meantime, the bartender's like, pickle juice, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, pickle juice for a chaser, that's fine with me. I love pickles.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of other shots that you do with a pickleback, and so that is not out of the realm of whatever.
I was going to chase it with some freaking Yay, because I'm thinking, what's worse than Malort? What is strong enough that can kill
the Malort? Yeah, so we went through Yay and a couple other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like, okay, and then he's like, pickle juice.
Yeah, so the bartender actually was a little more gentle than I was going to be. So I was going to hit that with some Yay afterwards. So.
And then you'd have to do something else to get the Yag out. And
not me.
You'd have like 4 shots lined up. And it'd be bad. And then we wouldn't have made it another hour, and we had to go home and go to sleep.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so I went out to get Lou and didn't tell him anything. Just said, come here, and followed him back, and the 6 shots lined up.
And he thought they were all 6 alcohol, so he's like, "You're trying to get me effed up," and I'm like, "No, buddy. Like this is
very good.
This is the alcohol. This is the chaser."
The chaser.
So.
Yeah, so we all did our shot to Bad Decisions and did the Malort, and of course I had to watch his face, and he did the Malort face. What
the hell was that?
And then we did the pickleback, and okay, so Megabeth and you guys, if you're gonna do a shot of Malort, and you want something to like neutralize it, seriously, pickle juice.
It worked
It
really
worked
well.
incredibly well. Like freakishly well.
Like I still had for a little bit after that a pithy taste in my mouth left from the Malort. Oh, isn't it wormwood is what she said Malort is.
Yeah. Yep.
But I had a very pithy, like citrus pith taste in my mouth. But other than that, that pickle juice killed it.
Pretty much neutralized any aftertastes you would experience with that, and made it go away, which was nice.
Yeah.
But unbeknownst to us, Lou has not allergic, but just
An aversion to.
an aversion to anything pickled.
Yeah.
So he
Which
was
that
like,
was my fault. The pickle part of it was my fault.
well, yeah, but we didn't know.
Yeah.
And we apologize for that.
But you're the one who
'cause we
brought up
didn't
the
know.
Malort for Lou.
That is true.
I'm the one who insisted on the pickles then.
And I think right after he was like, yeah, I think the pickle juice was worse for me than the Malort, and I'm like, seriously? Like, okay.
Well, which later in the evening then, after another mention of it, I said, well, you know what, Lou, it's okay. I can just get you another shot of Malort without the pickle juice.
And he was like, no, no, I'm good.
I mean, I'll be nice and,
Yeah,
you know. But yeah, it is definitely, I would say an acquired taste, but I don't think you can acquire it. I think it's so bad. And I like a lot of weird stuff. And even, but then again, I'm kind of lying because that's my second shot, my second, maybe third, fourth shot of Malort I've had now. Didn't we do a couple of different, remember, because before we were trained, like what would be better with Malort, this or that, or in our video, I think we went off on tangents. Oh no, it was we drink Malort, now what else can we drink is what it was. Okay.
Yeah, that opened the floodgates.
That's
yeah,
what happened.
Yeah, we've
Okay.
only...
This
I've
is
only
our
done
second shot then.
second
okay,
shot of
yeah,
Malort.
all right.
Put it to you
But
this
then
way.
again, it was another shot of Malort.
Yeah,
so.
put it to you this way. I would never buy a full bottle of
Oh,
Malort.
no way.
Like, that is something that'll never be on my shelf.
That's I mean, like,
I would
seeing
get
it at
another-
a bar was surprising.
Yeah, and the fact that they, when it was first introduced to Minnesota and they had like a big party, I'm like, I don't remember that. When did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
We never got the story, but anyway.
Yeah.
But the fact that that was like a thing, like the introduction of Malort to Minneapolis was, it's like, okay.
I mean, I guess it's one of those things where you got to make a big hype about it just so people will accept it, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, and now, since I know that some bars have it, like, who is that clientele that's coming in and asking for
Sugar buzz.
a Malort, like, on the rocks or something? Like,
Somebody from, where is that from again? Detroit or something?
Chicago.
Chicago. So.
No, honestly, I
Yeah.
can't picture people in Chicago even drinking it. Like, this is their, like, joke to the world or something. Like, this
Like,
is...
ha ha ha, they actually did.
They actually drank it. Oh, God. I mean, the
And now
nickname
they're
of...
making a video about it.
The nickname of Malort is Chicago River Water.
Yeah.
So,
that's right.
you know. But again, I mean, I would be willing to get a couple more smaller bottles and maybe see if we can mix it with something or do something with it. But again, I will never buy a full bottle of Malort.
No.
I don't see a reason for that ever.
That's good sitting on the shelf at the bar there. That's enough. So, yeah. So yeah, that was our fun little ambush that we did for Lou.
We did ambush.
I didn't know it was gonna be quite so terrible because I didn't know about the pickle thing about. But yeah, but it was fun.
Yeah.
What the heck? And I called it a YOLO shot. And Brad was like, it's called a what? And I'm like, well, I'm calling it a YOLO shot because YOLO bitches.
Exactly.
So yeah, YOLO, drink it. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, those bartenders were pretty
cool.
awesome.
And then we were trying to do a selfie, and then after like 3 attempts, the older one who's been there, I think he said he's been there for 20 years or something.
Something, yeah.
30 years, something, a long time. He kind of came over and he was like, yeah, give me a camera.
Yeah.
And he said at another bar he worked at, he would literally just get up on the bar and take a picture. But the headroom from the bar to the ceiling was about 4.5 feet, 5 feet maybe. It was not. It was lower ceiling, so we can do that. But he knelt up on something.
Yeah, he did really nicely.
And got a good shot of us.
Yeah, a nice picture of us, so which
yeah,
was nice.
And again, just when bartenders do stuff like that, it just kind of elevates the vibe of the room. Like that's just cool.
They're like one of your buddies. It's
yeah.
like they're super nice. Like,
yeah, it's not
really
just a situation of okay, here's your drink, go away.
Like the front side bartenders are a little more like
a little more business.
Here's your whatever, and there's your whatever, and okay, and just a little not as. I mean, there were the guy bartender up front was not as great. The first bartender was okay. The second one that I tried to talk to was like, he was working, but he was like, I had asked him for something, and he's like, she'll get around to you. And I'm like, okay. So I don't know the situation there, but they're not as friendly as the back bartenders. The back bartenders were a lot friendlier.
Yeah,
so,
a lot cooler.
Which is because like the first and only other show we'd been there was for the Bad Man's last show. And I didn't even know there was a bar up there like that because it was so packed.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that there was another room up there, but we didn't go up there. I didn't
even know there was a bar or a back patio to go out to.
I didn't know there was a back patio.
Or anything.
I saw there was a bar, and I figured there might have been some seating. I didn't know it was as kind of as small as it was, but because you walk into kind of the main room, and stage is here, and along this side, about halfway up, there's a little stairwell, or a little stairs, like two steps up.
Yeah.
And then that's where the back bar is, and then there's booths on this side, and that's where all the merch was. And then if you keep going, kind of around the corner is the back door into the back patio. But yeah, so again, nice little setup, nice room. Yeah. Sounded really good.
Yeah.
The sound was actually really good.
That being said, also, the Skyway's like all concrete and stuff. And that we just kind of mentioned, that has such great sound.
Yeah, they have fine-tuned that room like majorly because it sounds really good for being in an open concrete room.
Yep.
Former movie theater. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, that was really quite good sound too. But yeah, this stage side of Mortimer's, really good sound. And just so neat, like just the booths that they have, and they're like we said, they're like woodworking and the lights and everything, and just they have like these cool like brass chandeliers that come down, and like really cool. So they had brass chandeliers at Skyway too.
Yeah,
they had really cool. Yeah.
Really
so
cool anyway.
But yeah, so that was fun little.
So we got some food because we were smart and ate. You got a French dip, which was pretty good.
It was pretty good. The tots were good, although they didn't have the Creole flavor.
Yeah, they were advertised as Creole tots, and they were not. I mean, they were cooked well. They were nice and crispy. They
Very
were,
good.
And I just got the fried chicken sandwich, which is crispy chicken sandwich, with your standard like lettuce, may have been some tomato, mayo, some pickles, standard. It was pretty good. With the salt and pepper fries, which needed way more salt and pepper.
I know,
way
they
more
didn't taste like they had much on them either. Yeah.
But that being said, it got to us really quickly.
Oh my goodness, very quick.
Amazingly quick. So we put in the order, and then we went in to watch Infuriate. It was like 8:45.
Yeah.
And then watch the rest of them. And then literally by the time we got out and got sit at a booth, food appeared.
Yeah.
Like it was just like,
yeah.
Okay, cool. Nice.
That was pretty awesome. Yeah, that I literally was like, whoa, like that can't be ours. He's coming this way. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it is ours.
Like,
okay, cool.
Yeah, so that was, and yeah, I mean it was a good French dip. It was nothing too fancy, but the tots were cooked just beautifully.
Oh yeah, and
so good.
And we discovered if you take the tots, put them in the au jus,
So it's like shepherd's pie.
It tastes like a shepherd's pie.
It was so really good.
That was really good. Like, I would just order a thing of the au jus and a thing of tots and just
Mhm.
eat that, because that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
who needs protein?
And I did get a double margarita and no. Some I've learned it's some bars margaritas yes, some bars margaritas no. This is a no.
This was a no.
I'm gonna stick to other things. I almost would have rather had another shot of Malort with the pickles on the end, because no, and it had a strange vanilla taste. It did not taste like tequila to me. It almost tasted like it was made with vanilla vodka. Not enough lime. It didn't taste any salt. I literally was looking for a salt shaker so I could shake some salt in that sucker.
Which we discovered probably wouldn't have been a good thing, because
No.
there was so much salt in the au jus.
And I'm not much of a salt. I don't eat a lot of salt, so I probably would have been really between that and the alcohol would really dehydrated.
Really dehydrated.
But Josh still has the best margarita I've had.
Yes.
So
Josh at Club Underground.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't know it, but literally the best margaritas in the city.
Yep.
Easily.
So he's gonna every time he's gotta make a margarita now, he's gonna be like, "Thanks, bitch! I gotta make another margarita now." But like totally the best. Yeah. Even if you don't get salt, because sometimes he says he doesn't have salt, which I don't care. I will still take his margarita.
Yeah, in those you don't really need
No.
salt. I mean, the salt is a nice addition, but you don't really need it.
Yeah.
The one you had last night, you kind of needed. It needed something.
It needed to be not that, is what it needed.
Yeah, it needed actual tequila and actual.
Yeah, lime and I mean like.
Yeah,
I don't think I barely tasted any lime in that sucker.
See, I tasted. I don't know if it was citrusy something that I tasted.
There
but
was
it
a
wasn't,
little pulp.
But it wasn't good.
No.
Like, it wasn't like a refreshing.
Mm-mm.
Because a margarita should be a little, like, refreshing and a little.
Yeah.
This was not that.
Nope, not gonna do that one again.
No.
Yeah, but I mean.
Okay, now
that's
was
what
it
it is.
during this break where we had the other shots, or was that in between one of these guys?
Oh, the mezcal. Yeah. Nope. That was when I went. That was after we ate. No. Yes. No, that was after. That was that was a break in between one of the bands.
Yeah, I think that was after.
Yeah.
Those guys.
Yeah. That's where I think for that.
Okay.
So I'll
we'll
just
get
make
to that
a
in a
note.
second.
You'll-
Because there were more shots involved.
Well, because this is called It's Me. And yeah, and I like to try weird stuff. So
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Anyway,
now we have
so
the
now
drunker show
now
that
we're on-
follows the punker very drunk show.
The drunk show, the 21 plus show, which was basically a metal set. I mean, it was the last four bands. They were pretty much all. I mean, I don't know how you would describe the first one. The middle two were black metal bands, and then Begrayment was a death metal band. So it was pretty much so Exquisite, which Lou pointed out to me that the original guitar player and drummer from Endless Rain, that's their new band, which I didn't even recognize at first because Greg, the guitar player, I've only seen with a hat on, and this shows you how much a hat affects people's look. Because have you ever seen Kellerman with that hat on?
Only when he's rarely taking it off to do his hair and then put it back on again. Yeah, and then yes, he looks.
He looks completely different.
Yes.
So does Greg. Because it was after. Because I was like, okay, where are the? And then by the time we got to the last two, I'm like, I know they're not in those two. Oh, that was him. Okay. Yeah. So these guys get up. There's three of them. Greg and Tar, the drummer whose name I forget. Sorry, Lou. And then a singer, and they're all in all black button-up shirts and ties. And we're like, okay, interesting. And they produced this heavy, manic, like slightly bizarre. The singer is giving me heavy, like Mike Patton vibes. Just his like vocal, like not the lower stuff, but when he went into the higher stuff. and just the way he kind of was on stage, I'm like, that's total Mike Patton.
Okay. Yeah.
Like not so much Faith No More Mike Patton, but like Mr. Bungle Mike Patton, like more of the weird kind of bizarre thing.
I can see that.
But yeah, so I pretty much just watched him because he was yeah, it was interesting. Again, not having a bass player when Greg would go into any sort of lead, it kind of lost the bottom end because they actually weren't playing with backup tapes, which is kind of impressive for a band of that with that instrumentation. But yeah, I mean, it was good. It was entertaining. It was heavy. It was
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect with that name, because it's spelled Xkwizite.
exquisite.
So
Yes.
I literally was like, I was expecting like some like R&B something
Or weird,
poppy, weird metally stuff.
Pseudo like hip hop new
Yeah, hip
new
hop.
metal
Yeah, there we
thingy.
go. Something like that. Yeah.
And that it was not.
Nope. Nope. Nobody. Nope. And I didn't even realize that was that band until I think you had said something or the other.
Well, they did announce themselves at least twice on stage.
Oh, that might be the second time they announced themselves. Is when I realized who
when
they
you
were.
kind of clicked in, it's like
Yeah,
oh,
and I was like, oh, geez, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were very interesting to watch. I mean, to listen to, great, of course, but to watch, I was just, and it just throws you to see the suit, the shirt and tie business. Yeah, very good, entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of communication with the audience, and bands up to this point, I mean, some communicated with the audience more than others. I mean, because you know, as I don't know if we said this in the first half, but along with the not saying their name on stage and doing all that, they didn't really talk between songs.
Yeah.
Like it was just kind of like go, go, go.
Yep.
And then it'd be like, if you were lucky, you got a last song, then play the last song, and then get off stage. Which again, completely different aesthetic
Yeah, no
than
merch
metal bands.
talking. No, this is our newest CD. No, this is this song. Not even this is the name of this song.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
none of that.
Some of the other bands, you know, were like, you know, thanking the other bands, but not by name. Which again, at a metal show, I mean, Friday night, I think at least 2 or 3 of the bands on stage went through the entire lineup. So, you know, I mean, because that's just what you do.
Yeah.
But again, it's punk rock, so yeah. And again, and no offense to anybody, because you know we love everybody, but it's just a different aesthetic than we're used to.
Yeah.
It's
We're old and not used to all this different stuff. Not that being old is an excuse.
Even
for
though
anything.
punk's been around as long as we have.
I know. But these young kids and their music nowadays.
Young kids and their music. But what's I going with that? But yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot. I think he did a last song, and then you know. But yeah, very very entertaining to watch. Yeah, so if you get the chance, check them out because it'll be a good visual show if anything. Just watch the singer. Anyway, so then the next band,
Humanity.
which I don't know when you came in for, because I was over talking to Josh and Brad by the bar, and then you went outside and you said you stay here. I was like, okay, I'll stay here, and me and Josh and Brad were talking, and then we could see side of the stage and saw them start, and then you appeared at some point, yeah.
I think I got there.
Yeah.
Not maybe first song ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all of a sudden I looked at all the other guys and I said, I think there's music, and then like I went in and then they all started following me because like I'm like music, and but so I actually wrangled people for once rather than being the one that gets wrangled all the time.
Wrangled, yeah.
Usually that's that way. So I'm surprised you don't have me on a leash. Like that's some high school stuff back then. When I was in high school, was the whole put your pet girlfriend on a leash business. Yeah.
You went to a different high school now. I don't think they
Well,
would have
if you were-
tolerated that at North High School.
You were at the of the more gothier,
Oh,
punkier.
gotcha. Yeah,
than-
yeah.
Yep.
Well, again, I was in high school.
Oh, that's
a couple
right.
years
A few years
before
before
me.
me.
So the
yeah.
gothing hadn't hit that hard yet. So I mean, it was around, but not. It was way like underground.
Ah,
People weren't open
yeah.
about it yet.
They weren't quite there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, these guys, Disembodied Humanity, good name. Good name. I don't know how new you guys are. I know you share a singer with Visceral Reaction, which I was kind of excited to see. Didn't really do it for me.
No.
No. I mean, it was okay. I mean, the musical skill was there. Obviously, they have talent. But it was, for a lot of it, it was largely instrumental. And I don't know if that's because they just didn't have lyrics or whatever. Again, depending on who new the band is.
I'm curious.
But, and no offense, it wasn't interesting instrumental.
Oh.
It was just basically the riffs. And when you get into that, it's very and hearing that on two guitars for like 2 minutes is, with no vocals to break it up, is kind of.
Yeah, and we're used to like Samantha was kind of instrumental, so it's a whole kind of different dynamic.
I mean, this is something, and if this is what they're doing, I mean, more power to you. And I could see, listening to it on headphones and kind of getting, transported by that. I could see that
back and forth kind of.
And just the repetitiveness of it, and just kind of, that's how you zone out. I could see that being effective, but in this context, especially with all the other bands kind of being more dynamic, they fell flat a little bit. I hate to say it, but
Well, and maybe they're newer, or maybe like you said, that's just their thing. So, it's being our first time seeing them, and but yeah, it's.
Honestly. I mean, definitely competent enough and skilled enough to be on stage for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then we have Necrotisk. Necrotisk. I don't know. We have a hard time saying your name.
Yeah, and I know you said it once on stage, and we were going to try to remember, and we did.
All I got out of that is it's necrotist.
Necrotist. I think it's necrotist.
Is how my brain is remembering it. I did try to write it down how I thought it was supposed to be. But yeah.
So this is Matt McGee from Agony Reigns, bass player and singer for Agony Reigns. This is his black metal project. Which he's been doing for a while, and backstory, back in, God, must have been 2020, 2021, something like that, I just received a CD in the mail, wrapped in brown paper, with this note, and if I was smart, I probably just would have matched up the handwriting. But I didn't even know that he was doing a side project at that point. And basically a note saying, it'd be cool if you gave this a listen and tell me what you thought, and blah blah blah. And I don't think I ever did, just because I didn't know who it was, and I couldn't find him, and it was hard to decipher the name and all that. And then later I discover, that's Matt's black metal project. It's like, well, if I wouldn't know that. But that's okay. So if you know Matt, I mean, great guy. He's still a kid, but he's again, I've known him since the beginning of Agony. I mean, literally since he was probably 17 years old, 16 years old, something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. But yeah, I remember. Okay, he's not so little anymore. I mean, he's bulked up and has gorgeous fucking hair. Sorry, I had to say it. So, okay, now we'll talk about this because we were at the bar. Oh, because we were at the bar, we had just done the.
Oh, okay.
I think we had just done the Malort or the mezcal shots.
Yeah.
I believe. Okay, believe this is the correct timeline.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had.
You went to the bathroom or something.
Yeah, I went to the bathroom. I came back. I see 2 shots in the bar. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. Because I went to pay out my tab for the front side, between 2 of the bands from the second show because I didn't want to forget that I had I had to start a tab up there too. It didn't carry my tab from the back, so for the food and if you want to call it a margarita, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna take a moment to go pay that so I don't have to worry about it, and as I'm standing there, I look up because like I said, the one bartender that looked like he was working, like clearing stuff and doing things. Maybe he was finishing up his shift. I don't know, but I had said, "Oh, can I, do my tab and get, And he's like, "No, she'll be over to you." And I'm like, "All right."
Okay.
So I'm sitting there, and because as I was waiting for my tab, I look up and I see this beautiful green bottle, or green labeled bottle, and it's a mezcal, which my friend Amanda had taken me to I think that was Butcher and DeBoer, if I'm not mistaken, but it was somewhere where I had actually tried a mezcal flight with the worm salt. There's worms that live in this salt that you're supposed to use, and blood oranges and stuff. But and so I kind of like to try a different mezcal now and then, and I subjected him to mezcal the other weekend when we made tacos and and I'm like, I think we should get some mezcal to go with it. It's an experience.
For those uninitiated, it tastes like a campfire.
It's
an earthy, very smoky. It's not really bitter. It's not really sweet. It's just, I don't know, almost like an airy kind of thing. It's hard to describe, but
well, it kind of takes your breath away with all the smoke.
The most accurate description is that it tastes like a campfire smells. Like that's the overall kind of.
Yeah. Some people like to say it tastes like burning Band-Aids. It does kind of have such a very sharp, acrid taste to it with all the smoke. It's one of them that I had in my flight had like a creamed corn and like almost like a elote, like a street corn flavor in there too. And it literally did taste like you were eating smoked street corn. Was really good. And
you have to find that one because
that one was really good. And mezcal tends to be a little more than your normal tequila in price. Even a cheaper end mezcal that looks to run about $30 a bottle. But anyways, I had looked up and there's a bottle of mezcal up there, and I am the person who wants to try all the weird stuff. So as I was waiting for my check, he was in the bathroom. I'm like, she finally came over, and I'm like, can I get my tab and can I get my bill and 2 shots of that mezcal? And so she's like, okay. And so he comes back from the bathroom, and I think this is when Lou came up, and he was like, I need to get food too. And he's like, and what is that? And I'm like, it's mezcal. And so then you're like, oh no, what is she doing now? I turned my back on her for a minute.
And again, I immediately come back, I see clear things in the glass. I'm like, oh fuck, it's tequila, isn't it? Which I have grown. I was never a huge fan of tequila, but I've had way too many warm Patron shots, and now I'm kind of
and shaken Patron is so much better.
Shaken Patron is
and/or chilled is so much better than warm Patron. It really is. I went to Dell in a bowling alley one time, and they shook my Patron, and it was a life changer.
It goes down so much smoother, and it's just a better experience overall. But
so yeah. So anyways, he's like, oh no, oh, what is this? And I'm like, it's that mezcal up there, the pretty green. And so he's like, oh, okay.
Okay, and then
So-
remembering mezcal from the previous weekend is like, okay, let's look prepared for this. Okay, cool.
Because if you've never had mezcal, you don't quite know what you're getting into.
Mm-hmm.
Once you've had it, it's kind of like Malort. You kind of have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
It is a little shock to the system, but
It's
so much.
Very much a shock to the system.
It will wake you the F up.
But it's a much more pleasant shock to the system than Malort is.
Yes.
Malort is just every bitter, funky flavor you've ever had in your life at the same time. Mezcal is a lot. It's not. I mean, it can be kind of sharp, but the two that I've had weren't all that sharp. They're more mellow. But then you just get that overwhelming smokiness.
It literally takes it's so smoky. It
And
takes
it's just like,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it was good. It was one of the 6 mezcals I've had. But yeah, it was good to try. And that was a something verde mezcal.
Yeah, it almost looks similar to the bottle that we got.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So
I don't know if it's the same brand or same.
it was a
something, I don't
different brand, and the verde might be a type of
Just a
mezcal.
type. Okay, which makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was really good. I mean, it was pretty good as far as mezcal goes, as far as I know mezcal. It was a nice little change of pace. Yep. So we had our shot.
So we had the shot and explained to Lou what it was and what was happening. And
I was gonna offer him a half of my shot, but then he looked slightly terrified after what I did
once
to
I
him
said it tastes like
earlier.
a campfire, he was like, I'm good. I'm good, Ralph. Thanks. Yeah.
So, but I was gonna share. I share.
She does share.
Yeah.
She overshares
Sometimes, yeah.
So then, at that point, I noticed Matt across the bar, and so I went over and was chatting with him, and he introduced me to Steven, who was. They were saying they're a drummer for now, but hopefully will become a permanent member. And he was like, "Yeah, Steven, he's the drummer in Defiled Sacrament." And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's right." And then we talked about that, and I was like, "Hey, okay, cool, have a good set." And walked back over, mentioned to this one that, oh yeah, that's the drummer for Defiled Sacrament. Oh, because when I was talking to him, I'm like, "Oh, that's my girlfriend's new favorite band, is Defiled Sacrament." And he was like, "Okay, cool." And then I think we talked briefly, maybe about the Buffalo show. I don't remember. Or that we'd seen him a couple times and whatever, and came back over, told you that, and you were like, "Oh, we got to go, and now we got to go." And then he got up and started walking away, and
I'm
we
like,
literally chased him down.
Yeah.
Right before we got into the other room and talked to Zero for about 15 minutes. But I mean, really, really nice kid. I mean, he seemed really, really cool. And was accepting of her fanboying. And then we got in the room. And then this other guy comes up who is one of the guitar players, whose name I've forgotten. Josh.
I think it might have been a Josh. Yeah.
And then so we're talking about it, and you were talking about the singer Chase, and she was like, "Oh, it's Chase right over there," and you turned around and just about lost your freaking mind.
That's right. Because Chase is very tan right now. First time that we saw Defiled, he was very not tan.
He was almost translucent.
Yes, literally, and very translucent, gothy, and such and so forth. And he's very tan at the moment.
Yeah,
and,
he is.
Which is not a bad look.
No.
But I was just like, hi, and I think I was making him a little uncomfortable, but I didn't want to, so I was just like, oh my gosh, hi, I know who you are, I'm fangirling, sorry, and then fangirled a little more to these guys, and but yeah, no, I seriously, Chase's persona and vocals on stage, I think what I said the first time I tried to describe it was there's 3 people in him that come out in different vocals, and literally there's 3 people in him that emerge, and it's just crazy. So I just and I told him, it's the first time I saw you, this is what I did. He's like, oh, I think that's when he became a little
He
uncomfortable.
was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You're kind of weird.
Gotta go now.
I'm like, I'm an old weird lady, but literally this is what I did. But yeah, I just love that freaking band. So that was like, oh my gosh, I've got 3 of you, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, we had
seriously.
three fifths of
Just
Defiled.
like oh my gosh. So
and
that
we
was fun.
We talked to him about the Buffalo show and seeing him in Duluth, and we're happy that they have a bass player now, and that just fills out the sound, and you know, talked about all the stuff you talk about with the bands that you like, and yeah, I mean, those really, and yeah, Steven seems like a really cool guy. I mean, he seems like a good kid, so
Yeah.
I have to call him a kid because I'm assuming he's probably under 25.
Yeah, and we're old people.
And we're old, so yeah.
So I'm not disillusioned. I know I'm old. That's fine.
As I was saying to one of my friends at work who's 52, and again I'll be 50 in February. It's like, yeah, anybody under the age of 30 is a kid. Like, yeah, you can call them a kid and be fine.
Yeah, when I look at them and they're probably closer to my son's age than mine. Like I know, you know. But yeah, it was great to, like, you know, be able to see and like talk their ears off a little bit and let them know that, you know, like, hey,
you are appreciated.
You are appreciated. Like I recognize your immense talent and that you're freaking kick ass. So yeah, that was fun. I did have to do a little fangirl.
Little fangirl. Yeah, I've never seen you fangirl that hard for anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I've threatened to try to carry Neil Peart off stage before, so I had to promise my coworker that I wouldn't do that because he was going to the same R40 show that I went to, so he didn't want the show to have to stop while the cops come and carry me away. So, but yeah, that's got to be close to my most fangirly that you have seen me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially when I mentioned it, you were like, okay, we get me now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because I didn't want him to get away from us, and he started to get away from us. So
because you were like, which guy? And I'm like, the guy who just got up and walking away. Like, go faster.
Yeah, because like I don't always recognize people, so you know, and there's so much music that I just sometimes, you know, I don't, unless I've seen you a lot, like New Defective. Obviously, I recognize them because they're my boys.
Yeah.
And Castor and all of them.
Well, Castor
but
stands
like
out.
bands that I haven't accosted quite so frequently,
Yeah.
I haven't attacked them quite so much. So like that, you know, then you might escape from me because I don't recognize you. So just
But the more shows we go to,
but the more I go to see you, then you're closer to being accosted by me. So yeah.
and then so when I went up to Matt, we were talking. Almost the first thing he says is, "Oh, I'm sorry about the shirt you ordered, because I ordered a shirt months ago at this point when they dropped a new one." And he was like, "Yeah, I didn't see the notification or whatever, but it should be out now." And I'm like, "Yeah, no problem, whatever." So checked the mail this morning, and there it is. So it must have came last night. So if I would have timed it correctly, I probably would have had it for the show. So I did not buy this at the show, although they did have them there, but bought it, pre-ordered it, again, like 3 months ago or whatever it was. It came with the flyer for their July 31st show. Put it to you that way.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately, I did not make it to. But the new albums that they have out, freaking fantastic. And I told the boys that too. And they were like, oh, thank you. Which again, I was going to play for you, and then I thought about playing it this morning too, and I'm like, man. But I think I have a physical copy of that, so I can borrow it too.
Sweet. I was just going to ask you that actually. See, he must have seen that in my eyes, like, yeah. And I did. I don't remember what band it was that I was yammering at them about. I need my physical copies. Give me my physical copies. If it was them or not, it might have been them. I think it was because it was after my post fangirling, I think.
Yeah.
That I started yammering about physical copies.
Yeah, I think that was when we were on our way out and saying goodbye to people, and I think one of them was standing there. Yeah. And we were talking about needy and whatnot.
Yeah.
Anyway, their set was very good. We haven't even talked about their set yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this was my first time actually seeing them, and yeah, again, just a trio, just guitar, bass, drums, and the bass player looked familiar too, but I couldn't place him. Um, but yeah, I mean, really, again, it's black metal. So if you're familiar with that, you know what that is, and this is very much that, with kind of a youthful kind of injection to it, I think. No, it was good. It was very much, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I really did like them. Yeah. I'll just read my notes. What did I say? Oh yes, I really did like them. True. So yeah, looking good. Another one of those that was really freaking good.
Yeah, just kind of stand there and just kind of take it all in. Yeah, yeah. Sure.
Oh, that was, yeah.
Okay, so we're finally at the end of the night, and this is a band that I've known about for a while. I've never seen. You got one of their shirts, or shirt or CD? CD.
CD.
Because you got a copy of the new CD actually before they released it via Metalhead Box.
Ah, that's right.
And when I saw it in there, I was like, "Oh, I know these guys." Yeah.
I think there was a shirt too.
There might have been a shirt too, like the following.
And I think I almost actually wore that shirt on Friday because I remembered seeing it in my pile of stuff that I brought home from your place that I haven't put away yet. And then I think I literally almost wore that shirt on Friday. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we're talking about Begrayment. Begrayment? Yeah. Yeah, Begrayment. Who you can tell was a metal band. They had a banner in the back of the stage, which is almost bigger than the stage. They had 2 side scrims, which covered half the band. It's like, yeah, you're...
It was cool though. It was cool to see that.
It was very cool to see.
Artworky
Yeah,
stuff
it was very cool to see.
after the barren landscape of the evening. So.
Yeah, and they were good. Again, this is my first time actually seeing them. I have all of their releases, I believe. And they're just another young, though not as young as I thought. The singer looked a little bit older, maybe like in his mid-30s, but still relatively young.
Yeah.
Just straight like death metal band, which was very cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good. It kind of made me almost for a bit there forget the punkiness of the earlier night.
It was a total shift.
It very much different, and and then the went from the insane moshing pinball pinball pit that was going on earlier to more mellow and not a whole lot of moshing, a little bit but not more.
A little bit, but not a whole bunch.
Yeah. But yeah, it was freaking great. Yeah, just good, just a good immersion, like just fill me up with that metal now. After, I mean, not that there was nothing wrong with the punk of the beginning, but it's not my usual comfort food, as shall we say, of music. So, but
as I was saying, the drunk part of the show was a lot more in our wheelhouse, a lot more in our comfort zone. I mean, the first half was very cool. There was a lot of good energy there. There was a lot of new experiences there. That was cool to see. But it was nice to kind of, because by this time we were in a booth, in one of the back booths. We were sitting down. We were just kind of
chilling, because
we were both starting to almost nod off at that point because it'd been kind of a long day. And
then after 5 bands last night, then
it has been another music heavy weekend, so, which we haven't had in a while.
Yeah, that's true. So.
But it seems like lately we either don't go to shows or we go to like all the shows.
Yeah.
It's like we can't just go to one.
Yeah.
Like we have to do Saturday too, or Sunday, or Thursday, or
Yep. Yep. But it was worth it, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
So
I mean,
good.
it was such a good time. It was good to feel part of that community, even for a little bit, and contribute and kind of help out in whatever way we can. And, you know.
Yeah. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Bereavement, I mean, yeah, I've been wanting to see them for a long time, so it was good to finally get to see, immerse in actually a live version.
Yes,
So.
yes. And again, they had it all put together. Like they very professional presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, we forgot to talk
Oh
about
yeah.
Little.
Oh yeah, because we talked about the younger. We talked about how at Skyway there was the like tweens that and younger that were running around. But with the proper headgear, and then we also our ear protection, I should call it. And then when we were at the punker show, the very punk show as opposed to the very drunk show, there was a few younger people, and there was the youngest people, a little like 2.5-year-old little gal with her little battle vest, adorable as heck, with ear
With the
protection.
headphones on.
Her little name was Lily, and she was adorable.
And
cute.
me and Lou were talking to her dad, and he was saying, you know, yeah, she went to a show wherever it was, we don't remember, and you know she was in the pit, and we're like, and then he started looking on his phone, so we're like, oh, you have video of it, oh, cool. And so he showed us, and literally was her, you know, standing this way, kind of grooving, and then looking back this way, seeing the pit, and then just taking off. And then a little bit of footage of her kind of like in the pit and whatever, but it's kind of like, this is a 2.5-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the next generation right there. That's the one in, you know, 12 years is going to be in a band on stage at Mortimer's. You know.
Oh,
yeah,
she was adorable.
For sure.
Yeah. She was so cute. And then there was Lou was like, give Grandpa Lou a Knuckles, and then someone's like, no, she's got a snack in one hand and her juice in the other, and so then she came back over. He goes Knuckles, and then she'd give him a stomp, and then back over she goes. She was busy. She had her snack and her juice. So,
she had stuff to do.
Yeah. So oh my gosh, it's so cute. That was adorable.
Yeah.
The youngest of all.
Yeah, and she wasn't the only little. I mean, I saw a couple other probably under 4s running around, and yeah, all of them in battle vests and t-shirts. And, yeah, I mean that's just fun to see.
That was really neat. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's just so great because you know it's. Instead of parents being, oh my gosh, you know, stay away from all these weirdos and heavy metal people and these punks and these whatevers, it's like, no, like, they're people, and this is amazing music and an amazing community, and come along with us, you know?
Well, weren't we talking to someone on Friday night who was going to, like, bring their kid with, but the mom said no?
James, Lou's oldest.
Oh yeah.
Wanted to bring his daughter, and he's like, I should have brought her, but the mom, I kind of wanted to, but the mom said no, and then he said there was ear protection, I think, in Lou's garage. I think he said.
Well, Lou, I think, had it with him.
Yeah, and then he said that, oh shoot, if I would have known that, I probably would have even pushed a little more to bring her, But yeah, he said no. Her mom said no. You know that she didn't want him to bring her. So
to the scary punk rock show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
which I think I said, you know, she probably would have been safer here than anywhere else. You know, because you know we look after our own for sure.
Yep.
I mean, we look after other people who for sure look after our own. So yeah.
Exactly. So you know, but yeah. So he's like, well, next time, and it's like, and he was getting tired by the end. He ended up having to leave. I think before the last band, because he was
I think
literally sleeping.
Yeah, I think
like,
he was dozing. Yeah.
Yeah, but
during,
he had worked and he had been tired.
Yeah, and then he had to work the next day too.
Yeah.
And, so, but he had a nice little nap. It was fine.
Yeah. But you know you're tired when you can sleep through.
Sleep at a
through
at
that.
middle
So
school, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, which I've been guilty of. So, when I've been really tired. So, I mean, I know a couple of times at Rockfest I started falling asleep during. I started falling asleep during Guar of all bands. I mean, come
Well,
on.
I mean, and those are such long days anyway.
Yeah.
And you're hot. You're in the sun. And, you know,
So, yeah.
that's a whole different experience.
Yep. But yeah, that was one heck of a good night. And
This whole weekend was great because then we literally slept in late this morning
Yeah.
and haven't done very much. And
Yeah.
I mean, nice, relaxing, restful weekend. So
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah. It's really great.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all we got for now. So you know, all the things. Just don't be a dick and be nice because there's no reason not to. And support all your locals and have a good week.
Mhm.
Yeah. We'll see you later.